everyone. Welcome to another exciting episodes of AWS She Builds Tech Skills North America. I'm your host today, Bhavisha Davada. I'm a senior solutions architect based out of New York, working for enterprise customers, specifically focusing on manufacturing customers. I've been with the company for 2 years now, and this is my second She Builds episode. Today, I'm hosting this episode with Pragya. Pragya, I'll maybe turn it over to you and you tell us a little more about yourself.
Thank you, Bhavisha. Hi, everyone. My name is Pragya. I am a customer solutions leader at AWS. I'm based out of Herndon, Virginia, and this is my first time hosting a She Builds episode. So I'm super excited. A little bit about my role and what my team does. We support a diverse set of our AWS customers on cloud transformation. One of my favorite parts of working with customers is working backwards from their business objectives for adopting the cloud and helping them adopt people enablement, process changes, and adopting new technology. But with that, I'll also put a shameless plug here for Bhavisha and I that we have done episodes prior on She Builds about deeply explaining our roles, and you can access them with the links that we post here on our chat.
Yeah, I think great point there, right, Pragya, that those candid chats help the audience know what we actually do behind the scenes and what our day-to-days look like. So I'll be posting two links here, one to the candid chat with AWS Solutions Architect and one to prospering in the role of customer solutions architect, where Pragya and her colleague talks about what CSMs do in the org and how do they actually help customers accelerate their journey to the cloud. Great. So with that, Pragya, let's do a very quick side talk here before we actually dive into the exciting segment, which is the customer segment. In this episode today, we'll be talking about data, right? We're talking about how Dapter solved big data problems. So before we go there, I wanted to bring up AWS Data Exchange, which actually makes it easy for our customers to securely find and subscribe and use third party data, right? So, Pragya, I know data is the forefront for every organization. They want to move towards data driven decision making, and there's nothing like too much data, right? We are generating data at a speed that we have never seen before. So, curious, Pragya, what you've seen with customers and what are your thoughts on AWS Data Exchange?
Yeah, and I think this is kind of like one of the great examples of like when we launch products and services at AWS, we really work backwards from a need that our customers are having. So there are many industry use cases that I've seen for AWS Data Exchange, but I'll quote one of my favorite ones that is an uptick in trend in media and entertainment. And I picked that one because I'm a big movie buff. Like, ask me about what I've been watching on Netflix, and I'll tell you. But my favorite use case for media and entertainment is how data exchange can help find trends and repeated patterns that help companies measure branding mention. In turn helps make better recommendations to their audiences and their watchers, and that drives engagement for their audience. So in turn you get better customer satisfaction, and the audience wants to come back to your platform because you've been able to suggest better content for them. I think the other good thing is we're always looking to, reduce overhead and effort for our customers to adopt these technologies when we launch them. So I like how with AWS Data Exchange, it's integrated into some already available data sets like IMDb. If you're a movie buff like me, you've been to IMDb many times to be right about, when this movie was out or who was the actor. But it's all plugged in. So if you are a customer that is looking to get started soon without a lot of overhead, you could start with some of these existing data sets to build these recommendations for your customer. Yeah, that's kind of my favorite. What about you, Pavisha? What's your thoughts?
No, I think I like the IMDb use case. I think it's a good use case for our audience to connect to how you can actually start leveraging real world data sets that are available with AWS Data Exchange. And not only, I mean, once you subscribe to these data sets in AWS Data Exchange, right? Think about the different pipelines you can build. You can start quickly building analytics pipeline on these data sets. You can start building machine learning pipelines with our pre-trained ML models in SageMaker and many other things, right? So it makes it easy for our customers or for the audience to get started with machine learning or analytics workload. And it's just so easy to generate additional signals and features like the customer 360 example that you spoke about, like understanding the customer engagement and how you can start understanding your customers better. I think that's a good segue to our customer segment because Lucian, who's the CEO of Dapter, exactly talks about this use case on how they are helping their customers better understand users' browsing history, better understand user recommendations. So let's dive into the customer segment in the next segment here.
Let's do
So
that.
everyone. Welcome to another episode of AWS She Builds Tech Skills North America. Today, I'm co hosting this episode with Ellis, who's a senior customer solutions manager at AWS. And on our guest panel, we have Lucian, who's the CEO of Dapter and is based out of Romania. Lucian, thank you for being with us today.
Hi everyone, it's really pleasure to be here.
Thank you. Yeah. So to start things off, Lucian, can you tell us a little more about your background and at your role at Dapter?
Absolutely. So I'm a father of two beautiful kids before being the CEO of Dapter. So here at Dapter, even if my role right implies that I only take major decisions and manage the overall operations and resources, I also like to get involved with the development teams in solving a variety of challenges by leveraging my 20 years of background experience as a software engineer.
Oh, thank you for sharing that with us, Lucian. So, can you tell us a little bit more about Dapter as a company? What type of business problems are you solving, and who are the customers that leverage Dapter's solutions?
Absolutely. So here at Dapter, right, we love to play with data in general, right? Any kind of data, from big data, right, to simple data at scale. We found a variety of ways to structure the data so that it would make sense for both us and our customers to better understand the data. But the most often use cases that we deal with in data processing are related to extremely large marketplaces that need to understand the relationship between their products and different customers in order to increase their sales, right, by retargeting the same type of look-alike customers as the ones that are already using their products.
Yeah, I think very interesting and a very relevant problem that our audience can also connect with, right? So whenever you're browsing through this marketplace or e-commerce website, like you mentioned, you are trying to provide information on customer history and also trying to like maybe do a little bit of targeted ad and understanding the customer behavior in detail. Very interesting. And I also think with COVID, I think with the move towards e-commerce, this problem is becoming more and more relevant. So thank you for sharing that information with us. If you don't mind, Luchan, can you walk us through like the end-to-end workflow of how do you receive data and what are some of the steps that you do to process that data?
So the workflow in general that that we deal with on a daily basis, right, are composed from two major components, where one is a flow of data, like stream of data, and the other one is an identity graph. The flow is actually given by the transactions themselves. While the identity graph is just a statical set of data that has all the attributes linked to the consumer and much more. Now, linking those two components is the actual challenge, and each workflow that we have does just that on a variety of attributes that allow us to de-anonymize our clients, right? So if I put it like that, it sounds quite simple. The challenge is actually when you have to do this at scale, like in working with a stream of 5 billion transactions per day to match or to link against 500 million individuals, then things are starting to get a little bit more complicated.
Yeah, no, I think you brought up a very good point, right? You said it might sound simple, but big data problems are not easy to solve because we are seeing data growing at a scale that we have never seen before. So I think the audience would be interesting to understand a little more about how do you scale your infrastructure to this ever growing need or demand of data.
Yeah, so as I was mentioning before, we deal with large numbers, right? 5 billion transactions per day. It's pretty large, right? About 2 years ago, we were doing all of that exclusively on premises, right? We were inside the data center, we were renting a couple of servers, and until one day where our algorithm probably has proven to work and started bringing more and more customers, right? And that translated into more transactions. So at this point, about a year ago, we tried to scale rapidly, and it took us days and sometimes even weeks to be able to scale out properly in order to be able to process at least something or part of our clients' transactions, right? So we needed to do something more rapidly in order to completely eliminate this scale out dependency. So we've tried multiple cloud solutions, and none actually worked at the scale that we were actually processing data with. Yes, we were able to process up to 60%, 70%, 75% in some of the cases, the transactional data, but even so, we didn't have any sort of guarantee that the transactions won't increase and that 75% won't translate into something a lot less into the days to come. So this is actually where we've met Elise, right? And with her help and the support that she offered us, we were able to onboard into an AWS program that's called EBA that helped us to solve the problem by allowing us to process our entire data, 100% of the data in a single day, right? With a more reduced cost than whatever we were processing previously into the on-premises. And we were able to do that in just a couple of hours. That was the extreme beauty of it.
Yeah, no, I think great points there, right? With the resources like Ellis, you were able to leverage the experience-based accelerator. That's the EBA program that AWS provides for customers to accelerate their journey into the cloud. So thank you for sharing that story with the audience. And I think you talked about leveraging the cloud to and scale up and scale down based on as your demand is growing, right? So you're leveraging the cloud for its agility and also for the flexibility that it provides you. So great customer story there, Alice.
Yeah, it was so wonderful working with Lucian and your team to do the experience-based acceleration, and we were able to bring in experts in Elastic MapReduce and other AWS native services that were able to help you reach that success that you saw with such incredible time savings and cost savings. So it was a great experience, and really looking forward to our next episode where we dive deeper into the architecture and really looking at how we leverage those services for your solution. So you talked a little bit about your clients leverage the data, and I know that a lot of what you deal with is anonymizing and de-anonymizing the data. Can you talk a little bit more about how you do that and how you deal with such sensitive data sets?
Yes, absolutely. So inside the identity graphs that we have a lot of personal information that the users handed over once they've created accounts on those specific websites. So taking advantage of owning that data, right, by self-reported data, we are matching on a variety of other attributes that are held inside the PII data itself. right? But holding PII data is actually a big challenge in our days because you need to comply with all the regulations and always pay attention to the changes that imply holding of this data because the laws are adjusting themselves on a daily basis. And things are not as easy as they seem. This is probably one of the hardest points, even when we are actually onboarding a new customer, as we need to do a lot of due diligence before we are even able to keep their data, because we need to understand exactly how they have collected that data, how do they have created their own identity graph, and what are the attributes that they can actually use moving forward.
Yeah. I mean, like you said, right? This sounds simple, but the scale at which you have to handle the data, plus the compliance requirements that come with handling such sensitive information, makes data handling a very critical part of the business. So, great story there. And for our audience, if you're interested to learn more about PII, we'll leave a link in the chat below so that you can go read up about different compliance requirements that different countries have in handling this sensitive information. So, with that, Lucien, I think we are at the very end of the episode. I wish we had more time to uncover the amazing story and the amazing problem that you're solving. But with time, can you tell us a little more about what's next for Dapter?
Absolutely. Now that the hardware is no longer our challenge or our problem, this will allow us to move our focus and attention over to the new products, right, that are waiting for us over the horizon. We know exactly what those new products are, and we are more than eager to start working on them. Also, in parallel, we do have some legacy products that we are more than eager to apply some modernization, right? We need to bring those into the cloud and eliminate completely the idea of controlling both the software and the hardware behind it, because we don't need to do that anymore. We know that we can do that.
Yeah, no, I think great story, and we're definitely going to keep a tap on the amazing innovative things that Dapter is doing, and we can bring and hopefully we can bring more stories to the She Builds episode. For our audience, if you are around Romania, feel free to check the job description link that we're going to send in the comment chat if you are interested in the innovative things that Dapter is doing. I also believe Dapter is global, so we'll leave that information here in the chat below. And with that, I think, Lucien, thank you for sharing all that insights into how you handle these big data problems and how are you solving the business problem for your customer. We're definitely looking forward to diving deep into the architecture in the next episode. And Alice, thank you for being my co-host today.
Thank you so much, Babisha. It was a great experience.
Thank you very much, and thank you, Alice, and your team, especially for making this a reality.
Great. Thank you, everyone. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Wow, what a great episode, right? Lucian makes it sound easy, but we all know big data problems are difficult to handle, right? Especially like I have been working with my customers closely on starting to build their data lake, and we have to make sure we are following the compliance, breaking the silos, working with different business units. So it's an interesting journey when you start uncovering big data within your organization. And I also like how Lucian talks about iterative development, right? He talked about how they started with on-prem, but the on-prem infrastructure could not scale to meet the demands, and how they eventually moved to the cloud. So I think that's an interesting takeaway for our audience as well. Iterative, I mean, making decisions and moving fast is what companies require these days. Another important aspect that Lucian brought about is now they can focus on the business problems and not focus on maintaining the infrastructure, right? So that takes away a lot of heavy lifting from our customers so that they can start building innovative, cool stuffs in the cloud. So with that, Pragya, what do you think? How was the episode? Any takeaways for the audience?
No, just very relatable. Everything that Lucian talked about, and really very cool things that Dapter is trying to do. Folks can check out their website. How they're building the pipeline to help their customers analyze user behavior and improve, in turn, the user experience of their customers. So just like being at a company that is customer obsessed, love to see our customers being obsessed about serving their customers. And in terms of big data, right, I think that is just the tip of the iceberg, as Lucian also said. They are now, realizing the benefit of no longer having to depend on hardware refreshes, and that gives them so much flexibility to innovate at a fast speed. So yeah, very relatable. I think the story goes across so many of our customers, and everyone, they all have similar needs.
Yeah, yeah, that's amazing. I mean, I'll leave. I'm also excited to dive deep into their architecture discussion. That's our next episode, right? We come live on June 27th to talk about June 27th. Yes, that's Tuesday. So we come live on June 27th to talk about what are some of the services that they've leveraged in AWS and how were they able to scale with the ever growing need of their customers. Great. So,
Yep.
Pragya, thank you for
Yep.
sharing that link with the audience. You can RSVP, you can go to that splash that page and RSVP for our upcoming episodes. So, let's switch gears a little bit here, right? Lucian talked about EBAs, like experience based accelerator, that helps our customer accelerate their journey into the cloud. But, Pragya, with your experience, let's say for somebody who's just getting started with the cloud, how can they learn a little more about the cloud and the technology?
Yeah, and if you haven't thought about getting started with the cloud, even if you're young in your talent, in your career, or you're looking to do something different, I would certainly recommend considering cloud technology as an option. I can speak for myself. I didn't start there. I started in telco as a network engineer, learned a lot, but the power of cloud transformation and being able to learn new technology that is changing so fast, and then use that to solve for like really big customer business problems, is a very powerful combination. And it's just, as a professional, it's very fulfilling, and you're always learning. So from my experience, I'll share, and love to hear, Bhavisha, what your experience has been in this. What has served me well is to always be learning, learn and be curious. It's also one of our Amazon leadership principles, but it serves you well in life. Like, my interest in the cloud peaked from, I was working at a company that worked on a SaaS product, and I started to get, how does this work in the back end? And that got me interested in cloud technology. I'll also say the second thing for me is, don't wait to be 100% ready. Do your dive deep. If you get interested in technology, learn about it. There's lots of resources available everywhere. We also offer some at AWS. But try to learn about the technology, and then don't wait till you're 100% ready to jump into it. Start looking for hands-on experience, and start looking at where those opportunities, those roles exist. Seek mentors and advisors. If you know someone who already works in that industry and cloud technology, ask them questions. As somebody I've had experience mentoring. Mentors are flattered when people come and ask them, I have questions for you. So go ahead and find a mentor. You have folks here as well. We'll share our LinkedIn profiles as well towards the end. Feel free to reach out to us as well. But find those folks, and I think they will also help you guide in the right direction if you're looking at cloud technology to get started.
Yeah,
Um,
I
yeah.
think great story there, Pagyash. Thank you for sharing your personal story, right? It's important to get started, and like you said, do not wait to be an expert. Like, you can dive deep when needed, but just start somewhere. So thank you for sharing that. For our audience, if you have interesting stories about you on how you got started with cloud, or if you have questions for anything that Pragya or I shared, please post them in the comment, and we'll be happy to answer them. I just also posted an interesting program that She Builds has, right? We have mentorship programs, speaker nominations. We do a lot of things with the She Builds program as well. So feel free to reach out to the email address that I just posted, and we can connect you with the mentor if you're interested to learn more about the cloud. Great. And to that point, also you can leverage resources like Pragya mentioned, right? You can talk to you have our documentations. You can also be part of the events, right? So there's two events coming up next few months. First is the Reinforce, which is a security focused event, which is coming up mid June, right? June 13th and June 14th. Reinforce is a conference where we are focused on securities. You can meet AWS experts, you can meet industry leading customers customers, partners, and hear from them, right? We have partners like CrowdStrike, Datadog, Delta as part of the keynote. So there's a lot of interesting lineup during Reinforce, and you can learn more about how you can make your organization more secured and more compliant. And the second event that you can participate in if you're local to New York is the AWS New York Summit, which is end of July, and the details should be out soon. NYC Summit is a free event, so definitely encourage the audience to come visit, meet the experts, ask your questions, and maybe get started with the cloud. That's another opportunity to get started. So yeah, exciting stuff coming up next 2 months.
I
Any
agree.
yeah,
I
any
agree. A great opportunity to go learn this, customer use cases of how, services and these technical solutions are solving for the next generation of challenges and innovation. So always exciting. You always meet a lot of cool people too that are very passionate about technology. So I highly encourage.
Good, good, great. So, with that, I think we are at the most exciting part, at least for
Yes.
me, for this episode is the audience question, right? So, I'll post the question in the chat, and whoever is the first to respond gets opportunity to win cool prizes. So, the question for today's chat is, which AWS service helps you simplify running big data frameworks such as Apache Spark or Hadoop in AWS so that you can process and analyze vast amounts of data? Anybody in the audience who wants to go first? Which AWS service simplifies running Apache Spark, Hadoop, such big data frameworks in AWS so that you can process and analyze vast amounts of data quickly?
We got one response, another one.
Yeah. I mean, Glue is definitely a big data pipeline, right? You can use Glue into Transform and do the ETL for your data. But the answer that I was looking for today is Elastic MapReduce. That's Amazon EMR. But Abhishek, thank you for rejoining. I think you were part of our last episode as well. So thank you for tuning back in. Feel free to send an email on shebuildsna at amazon.com. I'll post it in the comment here, and we'll make sure we have the prizes delivered to you. And S. Gulati, thank you for participating and answering that question.
That was a tricky one. I don't think I was going to get that right either. So, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair to the audience, we have so many services in this big data uh, domain that it's interesting and see how we are innovating on behalf of our customer. Yes, Abhishek, that's definitely a tricky question.
Yes.
Good. With that said, Pragya, maybe we'll post the LinkedIn for you and me
Yes.
in the chat here, so that audience can feel free to connect with us. We would love to connect and engage and understand what you are doing with the cloud and learn more about your use cases.
Yeah, agree. And I will remind folks again that we have posted the link to the Splash that page for the technical session that we will do with a deeper dive on Dapter's architecture for what we discussed today. So please don't forget to join us again on June 27th.
Yeah, June 27th, we'll be talking to Andrea and Tommy from Dapter, who will be diving deep into the architecture, like Pragya mentioned. With that, I think it's a wrap. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. We're definitely looking forward for you to join other episodes as well. We stream these episodes every other Tuesday, where we highlight interesting customer stories and their journey in the tech. So we have a lot of exciting episodes in the pipeline. Also, please do remember to subscribe to the Shebuilds YouTube channel. And something exciting is we also stream these episodes on Spotify. So
Yes.
Pragya, if you don't mind, if you can leave the link to the Spotify and YouTube channel in the chat here for our audience to subscribe and tune in.
Absolutely. Spotify is one of my, when you're multitasking and you really want to, also engage in something else or a good learning exercise, Spotify is my perfect platform to go to.
Agreed. Great. So once again, audience, thank you everyone for tuning in, and we'll see you in the next episode. Till then, take care, everyone.
Thank you, everyone. Thanks, Pavisha.
Thank you.